Looking for a super easy recipe the kids can do and you can do with them in minutes? Well, we have one today. Suzanne Clark from livingacreativelife.net has these no-bake cookies with a twist.
Yes, you know, this is actually based on one of my absolute favorite recipes when I was a child. This is something that I could make all by myself, and I felt very proud of myself when I did create them. And so I've taken a basic recipe, and I think a lot of people have seen these no-bake cookies before, but I've really kind of changed them through the years. I think it's kind of fun.
You made them a little more gourmet. Okay,
Yeah.
Where do we start here?
Well, first of all, and this is important, this is the only step that requires heat, is we have to take 1 stick of challenge butter, and we are going to melt that on the stove with some sugar. Now, I have actually reduced the amount of sugar than a recipe normally calls for, but we just want to get that.
How much sugar did you put in?
I put 1.5 cups to 1 3/4. You do have to have enough sugar, because if you don't, it will not congeal, kind of. It's almost kind of like a fudge almost when you're making it. So it's important to do that. And we're going to put this, and we're going to melt this butter and the sugar on the stove, and make sure we cook it for at least a minute.
Okay. So once this is done, this is what you're left with. Then what do you do?
Well, of course, no dessert is complete without some chocolate. So I am going to add 5 tablespoons of chocolate. And Desiree, we're going to make this recipe right here and now, because it's really that easy.
Okay, so you just put 5 tablespoons in there, and then you just stir it in?
And we're gonna stir that in. And then I'm going to add the vanilla. Now, whenever we use vanilla in a recipe, we don't want to cook it on the stove. We want to make sure that we add it afterwards, because all the flavor will dissipate if you.
How much did you just put in?
About a teaspoon.
Okay.
Just a teaspoon. Now, I already know there's 3 cups of granola in here. Traditionally, this recipe calls for regular oatmeal, but I like to buy this protein enhanced
it adds
granola.
a little something.
Yeah, and you know, there's a little bit of nuts and, you know, a lot of other little goodies in there, and I just pour it in just like that.
Okay, I really like that you have the protein, because then when the kids are eating it, you're not feeling as bad either.
Exactly, and after we do that, we're gonna add even more healthy ingredients.
Oh, good, okay.
So we're gonna stir that up, and see it's getting nice and thick on us. Now we're gonna add some peanut butter.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and stir this, Desiree, while you add the peanut butter.
So this is a cup of peanut butter. All right.
And you can go ahead and put this in here. And this is going to come out of here really nice and easy, because I sprayed my mixing cup with Pam before I did it. So that's kind of a good little tip.
That is a great tip. So you just sprayed that onto your mixing cup or your measuring cup, and then you put peanut butter in. Good idea, because I was like, oh, this is going to be
It just slips right out, doesn't it? And doesn't it smell good now that you add all the peanut butter? Okay, and also, too, just a side note, if you have peanut allergies, you can add almond butter as well. It's just as good. I've done that before. And actually, you know, it makes it a little different. It's kind of fun to do the almond butter.
Okay, excellent. So you have that in. Now you have, what kind of nuts?
These are pecans, but you know what? I could use walnuts. I could use macadamia nuts.
Whatever you want.
Whatever I want to. This recipe has a lot of room for your own special touches.
Oh, it smells so good.
And then next we're going to add either raisins or dried cranberries. And
my kids love cranberries.
Oh, I do too. And I could also add dried cherries. That would be just as good. And now we're going to add some coconut.
Yum, this coconut, that would really add a different flavor, wouldn't it?
It does. Well, you know, if you like an almond joy, or you think about coconut.
But if you don't like it, you don't even have to have it.
No. What's important is you have to keep the base the same. But after that, you can add pretty much whatever you would like to.
Okay. Now what?
The fun begins. This is how easy it is to make these cookies. We're just going to take tablespoons, just regular spoons, and we're going to drop them out onto a sill pad. Now,
what else could you use?
I could also use a piece of wax paper or parchment paper.
Okay.
You do want to put them onto something. Don't just put them onto a pan, because you'll never get them off.
Okay.
Okay? So,
and all you're doing is just grabbing that, and you just...
That's how easy it is. Now, don't you think your kids could do this and it would be really fun?
Well, that's the best part. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything else. But how long do you leave them here? Do you put them in the fridge, or do you just leave them out, and do they set?
I leave them out on the countertop, and it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes for them to get hardened. And then after that, I do like to store them in the refrigerator, like in an airtight container. But you know, one of the other reasons I really like to make these with the kids is it's fun for them to have this to put in their lunchbox. Or maybe an after-school snack.
Because you've got all that protein in there with the peanut butter and the nuts.
And the nuts and everything. So it's a sweet treat, but it also has a lot of fun flavors going on that the kids are going to like.
All right. Great. And the recipe, everyone, is on Of course, livingacreativelife.net. You can check it out there. Suzanne has lots of other recipes. And there you go, a super easy recipe that you can do in 5 minutes or less.